Hey, it's probably Sharon. Welcome to my channel. We've all seen the embossing folders that make the brick patterns for our junk journals or greeting cards. They're great. They're fun to use ink on, make textures, make the shadows. They're really fun. But what if we could go a step further? So stay with me and I will show you how to make this brick pattern with something you probably already have in your house. It not only looks cool, but it actually feels like bricks. So stay tuned and let's get to it. So I think most of us has seen the embossing folder that creates bricks when you put it through your Cuttlebug or whatever kind of embossing machine you have. I'll just put this through really quick. So those who don't know what I'm talking about will have an idea. So you just roll it through. And then you open the folder and you have a brick pattern, which is really cool because then you can put some ink on it, make the bricks stand out a little more. I don't know how much ink is on this, but so you can get really artistic with it and make the bricks really stand out, but that's kind of what I mean. Of course, you could put a lot more on there. That was just for an example. So the other day I was on Facebook just scrolling through and this page popped up. And it was showing these little tiny bricks for, I believe it was like a miniature, like dollhouses or miniature towns, and they would use these little bricks, you know, that looked realistic for their walls and buildings and things like that. So I instantly thought of junk journals and how I could apply that to junk journals. And so I've been playing around for the last couple of days. So basically, what you would need is, and I think a lot of us are crafters. It's not just junk journals. I think a lot of us have done many different crafts over the years, and you might have some extra sandpaper around. Basically, what you do is you just get some sandpaper, and you can paint it or leave it as is, cut it down to, you know, the same size of rectangles. I've been doing actually 1 inch by a 1/2 inch, and then stick them down and make a little wall out of it. So I have a few different sandpapers. This one, of course, is on a roll, and it has kind of like a fabric on the back. It's quite thick, and then as I just showed, I have these that are, I think, more, I don't know, more people probably have these around than the roll. But this was in a pack that had 3 different grits. So this was medium, fine, and extra fine. And so the medium is 80, the fine is 120, and extra fine is 220. So I got some of this sandpaper and I painted it, just going, you know, whatever color scheme you're working on at the time, or, you know, like if you're doing pastels or the kind of muted pastel colors, or, you know, or maybe you want red bricks, black bricks, whatever. You can paint this to match whatever you're working on at the time. So I just use acrylic paint. Let me actually get my stuff together. Okay, so this fine, the extra fine, if you can see, it's, you know, the texture is just not as drastic, of course, because it's extra fine. This fine is a little bit better as far as texture, but the medium has the most texture. So I'm actually going to use the medium, which is 80. And I've got some white acrylic paint. I'm just going to kind of dab it around a little bit. I don't want to saturate it. I want it to maybe look like, you know, maybe it was once painted white and started to wear off type thing. You can use this little sponge dauber, or you can use an actual brush. I've mixed pink and white here. I thought the pink was a little bit too dark, so I put some white. Anyway, just, you know, you want to see maybe some of the red underneath, but it's personal preference. If you want to totally cover it, it's fine too. You will still be able to feel the texture even if you saturate it. So basically, you go through and do that. And then you can make them really any size that you want. I mentioned before that I have been using 1 inch by 1/2 inch. And what I've noticed with the, I'll use a different piece since this one is wet. But you can actually, you can cut it with like a knife, like a utility knife or an X-Acto knife. It could dull your scissors if you use scissors, so just know that. If you have an old pair of scissors that you don't care if they're, you know, get a little banged up, then go ahead and use those. But what I have noticed is if you go ahead and make your lines, you know, your 1 inch by 1/2 inch, and then you bend it. Actually, let me just show you. Okay, so I know this is something people normally use for fabric and sewing, but I was using the utility knife and I felt safer having that little bit thicker lip. I don't want to cut my fingers off. So anyway, that's why I have this. So I'm measuring 1 inch, so I'm making a 1 inch strip, and I'm just going to draw a line so I know where my 1 inch mark is. And then, if I can get a hold of it, just try to bend it right on that line. If you press hard with your pen or pencil, it'll be a little bit easier to fold that over. And then you can just tear it. So no need to dull any knives or scissors. And then just go ahead again and, you know, do your 1/2 inch mark or whatever size that you want to use. And then do the same thing. Just bend it over, rip them off. If you end up with little bits along the edge, you can use some of your ink to just ink the edges of that to hide that. So anyway, of course you want to wait till the paint's dry if you decide to paint it. Then you want to go ahead and get all your little rectangles together. Okay, so what I want to do first is pick out what color of the cement. What is that cement called? Mortar? Is it mortar? Hold on. Alexa, what's the cement stuff in between bricks?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor,
okay, yeah, it's called mortar. Mortar. Okay, so anyway, you want to decide what color mortar you want to be in between your bricks. So you can either get some junk mail, like this is a postcard, like an advert that I get in the mail. I get these 2 or 3 times a week. And all I did was put, actually it was chalk paint. It was this chalk paint. Mineral is the color. But you can use acrylic paint. You can do gesso and then paint. Just whatever color you want to be for your mortar. Or also you could use cardstock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the gray. And what I'm thinking is I want to make like a tag, like a big tag with a pocket. So I mean, normally my journals are about 8.5 inches tall, so I'm going to make this about 8 inches. So I'm just going to fold that bottom part over. Forgive my nails. I have been working with sandpaper and they're kind of beat up a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and make a little, so that's going to be our little pocket. Get my little bricks. So I have some pink, green, and some kind of white and green together. Anyway, you can do really a lot of different designs with bricks, but I'm just going to go for the generic, what you see all the time, pattern. So just go ahead and I'm just using Elmer's glue or PVA glue. Just go ahead and start sticking them down. So I was really surprised a few days ago, one of my videos kind of went crazy. I started getting a lot of views and a lot of subscribers like all at once, and I just wanted to say thank you for that, guys. It was a nice surprise and I'm really grateful. I'm still kind of shocked actually, but pretty cool. So like I said before, you can use whatever colors you want, whatever colors you're working with on whatever page. You know, this would even be good for a journal cover even, just with all the detail. I always feel like when I spend a lot of time working on something, it should be on the cover instead of on a tag or a pocket. So anyway, this part is going to take a little bit of time. But, you know, I thought, you know, this might take too much time. Nobody's going to want to do it. But when I look back at all the other techniques and tutorials I've watched or I've done myself, this is actually, you know, right in there. It's not really that much more time consuming than some of the other things. So, and it's kind of fun. Play with blocks. That one seems a little big. Okay. So, I actually already have one made. So you don't have to sit here and watch me do this. Let me just put that aside. What I think is really cool about this though is the texture. I mean, it looks cool when you use the embossing folders. You know, you got the look, you got the little shadows, and it looks really cool. But by using the sandpaper, you get to feel it. It feels like bricks. So what I did is, this is actually a napkin. So I put the napkin down on butcher paper and ironed it on the shiny side up. That's a whole different thing. Don't just do what I said. You probably want to look that up because I don't want you to ruin your iron. Anyway, it's a napkin on the butcher paper, and then I stitched it onto cardstock. I folded the bottom over just like the one that we just were working on together. So basically, yeah, I stitched around. It's just like a little writing card. And let's see. So yeah, you can put something in there. You know, probably something bigger than that, or a few things even. But you could clip it into your book with a paper clip, or just put it right there in the page. A couple other things that I did. This was one that I made with the sandpaper that has the fabric on the back. And as you can see, this little corner pocket is kind of warped, and it's because of the curl. So it's because of the curl in the sandpaper. And I did try to bend it back and, you know, try to flatten it out as much as I could, but it seemed like it looked okay for a bit, and then it would start to curl again. So this will be fine. Let me see. So here's just a little journal, a tiny one. I'm sure I'll put this in a bigger journal than this, but you can just stick it down and have a little tuck spot, little corner pocket to tuck things under. So yeah, there's that one. So on this one, I did some black on some of it, and then I did a little bit of white on some of it, and the others I just left as the color of the sandpaper. And this one, this blue is really bright. I didn't mean for it to be so bright, but basically this is just 1/4 of a piece of copy paper. So it's 5.5 by 4 1/4. And then I just made a little pocket with the bricks. So this could be used as, you could stick it down, you know, just like this, maybe on 3 sides. And then you could use it for, you know, you could have a pocket behind it. And then the pocket here as well. Or you could just leave it loose and maybe clip it onto your page. And just use it for a writing card. So there's, oh, on this one, this was also the curly sandpaper. So some of it I colored brown, some I left natural, and then some I put the white, a little bit of white over the top. So, and as you can see too, the mortar on this is white. On the corner one, this is actually a light gray. Probably can't tell, it looks white, but it's light gray. Anyway, I just thought that was something fun that I would share with you. I haven't seen anyone else doing this, and myself, I like different textures. I mean, I like the looks, and when you have a texture with it as well, I think that just puts it right over the top. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my video. Thanks for staying until the end, and I will see you when I create my next video.